I'm Daria. Welcome back to another sewing tutorial. As I love sharing fun hack ideas to my parents, today I'm going to show how to make a ruched crop top from a Seashell Summer Dress pattern. There are a few options on how to finish the bottom. You can use a skirt pattern and trim it up to the mark waistline or so, like I have made for the satin top, or you can finish it with the same edging like the top edges of this blouse are finished. So, first we should print and assemble the bodice and the sleeve of the Seashell Summer Dress pattern. To print the beginning of a skirt is completely optional. I want to get rid of the center back seam as the zipper will be moved to the side seam, so I trim off or fold 1 cm seam allowance. It's a fold light now, and I will cut only one back piece on the fold. As the dress pattern isn't tightly fitted around the waist, I suggest taking it a little bit on the side seams, for example 1 cm from each side. It is straightforward on the back piece, but on the front piece we should do it gradually, like that. Check the length of the seams 1 cm away from the edges and trim off the excess from the back piece to match the seams after assembly. And we are done with the adjustments. Prepare the fabric and cut the pieces we have. So I've cut all the bodice pieces with the sleeve, plus 2 long pieces with the bottom ruffles, which are the same width as the top edge ruffles. I will be showing this way of finishing the bottom, but you can use the skirt pieces instead of this. An invisible zipper will go in the left side seam. So everything starts the same as sewing a dress. If you want to see everything in detail, please see my video instructions on Seashell Summer Dress. Now I want to show more detail what is different from sewing a dress. For example, interfacing the left sides is a must, where the zipper will be installed. As well, if your fabric on the back isn't stable enough and stretched a little bit, I suggest interfacing it too. preparing the front pieces for sewing the tunnels as for the dress and making everything the same. Stitch right sides together along the pre-pressed edges using 1 cm wide seam allowance. Working from the wrong side, top stitch the seam 1 mm from the folded edge. This creates the tunnels from the strings at the center front. Repeat on the second side. Sew the back darts. And now it's time to sew the side seams. But as the left side seam will have a zipper, let's install it at once. It will be sewn upwards. For that, we should finish the both edges with an overlocker or a zigzag stitch. To install a zipper, I sew start of the side seam near the arm side, just 1 cm long. For me, it's so convenient to sew the zipper like so when it ends somewhere. I put this little seam open and switch the zipper foot to an invisible zipper foot. Starting from the bottom of the top, place the plastic zipper stop 1 cm from the edge. Sew down until the seam starts. Place the plastic zipper stop on the second side 1 cm from the edge and sew down the same way. And here's the zipper. This is the tail we don't need anymore. Just trim it off and heat seal the end. Press the zipper slightly into sections as the front piece is curved. If you are sewing the top using the skirt pattern, the zipper could go through the seam and end somewhere next to the hem. Sew the right side seam as usual and finish it with an overlocker or a zigzag stitch, working from the front piece. To create the strings, fold the edges of the string pieces over 7 mm towards the center and press just like a blouse. Fold the pieces in half one more time and stitch 1 or 2 mm along the pre-folded edges. Finish one end on both strings by folding the end twice and stitching to hem. Press the whole tie. Attach a safety pin to the unfinished end of the string. Then insert the end of the string into the waist seam opening and thread it through the channel until it reaches the neckline. Repeat with the second string. Place the strings at the top of the front pieces to secure. Fold all the frill pieces in half lengthwise, wrong sides together and press. The long pieces for the finishing the bottom too. I have sewn them together and have pressed the seam open. We have already discussed in the dress video tutorial that we can gather in two ways, with a gathering foot or by making parallel stitch lines, so choose which way you prefer and gather the frill pieces. Press the frill slightly. Attach the frills to the right side of the front and back necklines, as well as to the whole bottom edge of the top, starting from the one zipper end. If you want to get rid of the frills on the neckline, just fold the edges twice. It works great and looks neat. When sewing the frills to the zipper tail, unfold the zipper to the right side and the end of the frill over 1 cm towards the right side before sewing it to the zipper tail. See how lucky I am! My seams matched absolutely perfectly. Yay! Next step is to finish the seam allowance with an overlocker or a zigzag stitch, working from the frill side. The same we do at the bottom, starting and ending. Knot the zipper by making knots from the loop threads. So now put the seam allowance toward the bodice and top stitch 1 or 2 mm away from the neckline. We do the same with all the edging. When near the zipper, put the zipper tail towards the bodice and top stitch, starting from the corner. Finish the sleeve hem with an overlocker. Fold the sleeve hem over 4 cm and press. Stitch the sleeve seams and finish them with an overlocker and press. Make 2 parallel stitch lines 2 cm and 3 cm away from the sleeve hem fold. Leave 1 or 2 cm wide opening near the seam sleeve to insert the elastic. Sew the sleeve into the armhole section, matching the notches on the sleeve head with the neckline on the bodice, not the frill edges. Finish the seam allowance and the remaining sleeve head edge with an overlocker or a zigzag stitch, working from the right side of the sleeve. Fold the sleeve head seam allowance over 1 cm towards the wrong side and press using steam. Make a tunnel for the elastic by top stitching the sleeve head 7 mm away from the fold. Start and stop next to the neckline seam, not the frill edge. To finish the sleeve hem gathering, measure your upper arm and cut the elastic into pieces using your measurement plus 1 cm. Insert one end of the elastic into the sleeve hem tunnel opening. Stitch the elastic ends together and the opening closed. Insert the elastic in the sleeve head tunnel via one of the openings. The measurement of the elastic of your size is given in the pattern. Top stitch the channel on the sleeve head parallel to the neckline to secure the elastic in the back and front. Tighten the strings to create a sweetheart neckline and press the frills in the V-shaped area using steam. The top is ready to try on, And if you want to take in the neckline, I suggest making 2 tucks on each side of the tunnel. These little seams won't be visible between the frills. If you will do any hack, I would like to see it on Instagram with the hashtag Seashell Summer Dress. Express yourself, give your fantasy a go. I hope you appreciate the tutorials on my existing patterns. I think it gives additional possibilities to use patterns, so I like it and I hope you do too. Write down in the comments which tutorials you would like to see from me next. I'm open to your requests. Thank you very much for watching.